The title of this talk is The Secret Power of Prayers and Mantras. There's an important key on this subject that's rarely followed, and it is this. By repeating prayers slowly, softly, and silently, you connect with the name, the words, and the sounds. And in this video, I'm going to guide you through on exactly how to do that. In the book of James in the Bible, chapter 4 and verse 8, it says, "Draw near to God, and God will draw near to you." And an effective way to do this is by applying a particular form of prayer for 20 minutes or more. And you will notice that as you do that, there is an emerging sense of love, beauty, and peace. And that leads you into a deepening realization of your connection with the divine. When you utilize this practice along with centering your attention on your heart, you'll discover an effective way to connect with the divine source. And this can be a very important practice to incorporate into your regular spiritual work, because the more you will feel the love and the peace that naturally resides within you, the more you're going to feel complete, nurtured, supported, secure, connected, comforted, and loved, all of which form a foundation for you to receive answers to your prayers and intentions. The practice of this particular form of prayer is one of the missing key reasons why people often find that they don't have their prayers and intentions working. And so don't underestimate the importance of the profound nature of this practice that I'm going to be explaining to you in detail as we go through the video. You're going to discover some amazing truths and miracles even that it will unlock in your life. Many have found that repeating specific words and even sounds can help open and integrate your deepest spiritual connections. And for this, you may find that you're drawn to particular words or names or phrases that most likely is probably due to your religious affiliations, maybe even past lives. So I suggest that you try several of the ones that I'm going to give you until you find the ones that seem to have the most meaning for you and the ones that are the most effective for you. There's value also to the vibrations that the sounds produce, as well as the meaning and the intentions behind the words. So I refer to this as a process of prayerful intentions, and they connect you deeply with your spiritual nature and the divine creator. So there's value to using the sound in the words or of the words in the original ancient language while you're being sure that you understand what the meaning of the words are in whatever your native language is. So I'm going to give you suggestions, first of all, on how to do this process. So number one is only use one word or phrase in any given meditative session. I'm going to give you a list that you'll work with in a few minutes. In other words, for this process to be effective, you don't want to be repeating a whole list of a lot of different requests or intentions. You pick a single word or a name of God or a phrase, and you use it for that session. Secondly, you repeat the word or the phrase out loud for a few minutes, maybe a minute or two, and then you begin repeating it silently in your mind. However, even though you're repeating it silently in your mind, you will still want to move your lips. This is important because it creates a stronger focus with the meaning behind the words. Number three, this process is often found to have the most effect when it's done in the middle of the night. Now, of course, you can do this anytime during the day, of course, as well, but most people find that it's even more effective when you do it between the hours of 1 and 4 a.m. I think because that's when most people are asleep and the energies are quieter, the energies are more settled, and that makes it easier for you to form a deep spiritual connection. Number four, intend to connect more deeply each time you repeat the words. Number 5, repeat the words silently to yourself and be aware that that mantra or those words live within your heart. The goal of the prayerful intention or mantra is the realization of your divine nature and deepening your connection with that divine nature. So listen and attune to the qualities, the sensations, the realizations that emerge as you repeat these words. Be aware that this is not unusual, that you're not going to notice a lot the first few times you do this. But you'll find that if you keep with it, it becomes a practice that you do over the weeks and even months, that you're going to find that the more you do it, the more profound an effect that it will have on your life. So I suggest that you commit to this as a daily practice for at least 3 months. And at that time, you can evaluate how helpful it is to you. And you might want to take an interlude, maybe work with a different type of meditation for a while, or maybe practice with some different words that you haven't used before. So now I'm going to turn this video over to a PowerPoint so that you'll be able to follow along with me. I want to tell you about a particular type of mantra that's practiced called Remembrance. This practice is valuable for a whole lot more than just dealing with mental distractions, as you'll see as we get into the subject. Remembrance is a practice that is common to a number of religions and spiritual paths. And what it is it simply consists of the repetition of a sacred or holy name, word, or sound that connects you with your divine source. And so the practice can be done with any of quite a variety of sacred words and names. And the way you do this is you repeat the words silently with the intention of deepening into the connection with the vibration and the meaning of the word. And then you wait at least 15 seconds or more before you repeat the word again. In some cases, you might wait a lot longer before you repeat it again. But each time, you want to deepen your feeling, your connection with the meaning and the vibration of the sound and the word. And you'll know when it feels right to repeat the word again. In some cases, you might want to wait several minutes, or maybe even as many as 5 or 10 minutes between repeating it. But usually you'll find somewhere between 15 seconds and a minute or two is about the right amount. And what's interesting is when you do this practice by using the words that I'll give you in just a minute, is that many people experience an energy shift around 20 minutes. And another shift takes place after repeating the name or the word for around 40 minutes. Now, don't be discouraged if you don't experience a shift that you notice in those specific time frames. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. One way that you can perhaps enhance the likelihood that it would happen is by doing it very late at night or very early in the morning. So somewhere between midnight and 4 a.m., the energies are much more settled and calm, and it seems like it's easier to have an effect from your meditations during those hours. So if you wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and you're having trouble sleeping, that might be a good thing to do, is take advantage of it. Maybe the angels are waking you up so you can do a spiritual practice. Now, I mentioned there are any number of names and words that you can use. For instance, one word that can be used in this manner goes all the way back to the book of Genesis in the Bible, and that is the word Elohim. This is a name of God used in actually the very first chapter of the Bible. And it is a powerful mantra that many people find to be very effective. And the repetition of this word has a unique effect, as really do all the words that I'll be giving you when they're used in the manner of repeating them as a mantra. But Elohim is quite unique in the kind of vibration that it carries. Another word that you can use is also found in the Bible. This is in a prayer of Jesus in Mark, the 14th chapter, verse 36, where he prays, Abba, Father, all things are possible to you. And the Apostle Paul also used the same word, Abba, in Romans 8:15 and Galatians 4:6. It's the Aramaic word for father. And it's been observed, as in this word, that there is an ah sound, ah, ba. And it's been found that the ah sound helps to open the heart center. And of course, this word has two ah sounds in it, so it's a really good one to use. The ah sound is apparent also in a lot of traditional mantras. For instance, the sound aum, which is a variant of om, has a long, drawn-out ah sound in it. A Hindu mantra that has the ah sound in it, which is regarded as very powerful, is Soham. That's S-O-H-A-M, which means I am the self. And that's with a capital S on self, which is referring to the true self. And this is one of the mantras used by Sai Baba and Muktananda. And it's said to be the sound as God listens to the breath of humans. The way you do this particular mantra is you can repeat it maybe 3 times audibly, and then you go silent. And that's the normal way of doing a mantra anyway. They are more effective, actually, when they're done silently. But when you do them silently, you also want to move your lips. So that forms the intention and forms the projection of the energy of the mantra. So the way you would do this is when you inhale, you breathe in, you say so, and when you breathe out, you say hum. And you let the breath lead the meditation and the mantra. And of course, the only way you could say so when you're breathing in is if you're doing it silently. Another word that some people like to use for the remembrance practice is Rama. Rama is regarded as a sacred name of God, and once again, you'll notice it has the ah sound, Ra-ma, in it. And Ram was a word that Gandhi often repeated. And what's also interesting is that one of the primary Egyptian gods was named Ra. The Sufis and the followers of Islam repeat the name Allah, which refers to the one God. And 2 things which are interesting about this word is it has 2 ah sounds in it again. And the ancient mystical Jewish path called Kabbalah, or Kabbalah, has the word Allah in it. So it is truly one of the ancient names of God. And it can be very effectively used in the remembrance practice. Another popular mantra is Om Namah Shivaya. And that means I surrender to Shiva. And Shiva is the consciousness dwelling in everyone and everything. And Shiva is also sometimes seen as the one who destroys sins and impurities of those who repeat the mantra. Another interesting thing about this particular mantra is there are 5 ah sounds in it. So if you say it like Om Na Ma Sha Va Ya, it has 5 ah sounds in it. And in addition, each syllable has a meaning. Namah Shivaya has 5 syllables, which are the form of the 5 elements. So you have Na is the earth, Ma water, Sha fire, Va air, Ya ether. There are lots and lots of mantras to choose from. I've just touched on a few that you can experiment with. The idea is to pick one mantra and stick with it for a while before you go to another one. Feel yourself connecting deeply with what the word or words represent, or just focus on surrendering and opening more and more to the divine light presence. I've personally used affirmations like this and in mantra-like repetition in my Soul Merge program. And some of these I've used for many, many months and would repeat them for hours at a time and had some incredible revelations that came through that practice. Now, these are not specifically incorporating the ah sound, but the words are very meaningful for me. For instance, I feel my soul in my heart. And another one is I feel the light of my soul in my heart. I deeply surrender to the light of my soul. I merge into the light of my soul. I feel God in my heart. And there are many more in the Soul Merge program. But the way I would do that is I would put my hand over the upper center of the chest, and I would repeat something like, I feel my soul in my heart. And then I would just wait for maybe 10, 15 seconds and allow the feeling of that connection to deepen. And then after you do it for a while, you can stretch it out, maybe go 30 seconds and then go for a minute and maybe 2 minutes, and really deepen the connection with the meaning of the words. So that for me was very powerful. The intent here is connecting with the highest aspect of our divine nature, which is really the important thing. But I'd say to try working with a mantra that you feel drawn to and you feel comfortable with. Some people have had great spiritual realizations by repeating the word one, O-N-E, or the word love. Or you can pick any one that has an ah sound in it. I would suggest, however, that you just pick one mantra for a particular meditation. In other words, it would be better not to try doing all of these different words in one meditative session. Pick one and do it for, a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that, and just see how that works for you. And then if it doesn't quite feel right, then the next time you have a chance to meditate, pick a different one. As you repeat the word or the name, you want to hold your attention on the center of your chest in your heart space. Listen and attune to the qualities that emerge as you repeat the mantra. And as you continue with this practice, a message, an insight, or a shift in your energy will reveal itself to you. Another way that you can use the mantra is by attuning to your inner guidance after you repeat a mantra for 10 or 15 minutes. So what you do is you pick a particular mantra, repeat it in the manner I've described for 10 or 15 minutes, and then remain in a peaceful state and bring an inquiry to mind. For instance, a question on a subject you'd like to know something more about. And this was the type of practice that I used when I was wanting to know more about the subject of the soul. So I would repeat, I feel my soul in my heart, and that's how I started. I would do that for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I would just ask the soul to reveal more of itself to me. And ultimately that resulted in an entire book of information about the soul. You want to surrender to the stillness and ask for clarifications with a question like, is there anything important for me to know at this time? Or one of my favorite requests was, I ask to be taken to the next quantum leap in my spiritual evolvement. Or you can ask, is there anything else I need to know? And then you open yourself and you make yourself receptive to hear or see or feel whatever the response is to your request. And then periodically you want to say, is there anything else I need to know? Or you could say, tell me more. So I suggest you practice this. Try it. It's really an incredibly powerful technique, and it will open up some very wonderful deep realizations for you. Allow the insights to just bubble to the surface. Sometimes they can come like flashes or glimpses. Sometimes they come as single words. Other times, deeper insights will unfold. But I'd also suggest that you practice this at times for longer periods of time. In other words, you may not notice a whole lot in 10 or 15 minutes. So give it a good test and practice. And if you can do it in the middle of the night sometime, try that.